Oh, Icky, don't touch the mic. We can hear all the mic noises, Icky. We can hear every time you touch it. What about now, huh? I can do whatever I damn well please to the mic, huh? It's because I got a new mic. It's on and up. I've started streaming now. This is my little stream area back here. I stream here on YouTube. I stream on Mondays and Fridays at 6 p.m. in the UK. Wow, I turned the start of video into an ad. Capitalism. If you can hear the weather outside on the mic, I am very sorry. I think there's like some kind of storm or something. It's very windy, and unlike what conservatives think, I do not control the weather. Yet. I wanted to talk today about regretting transitioning. Will you, tiny egg watching my YouTube video who is wondering whether or not they should transition, actually regret transitioning if you decide to go along with it? I'm not talking like that statistic that goes around of like, you know, if you get bottom surgery, there's a percentage. We are more talking anecdotal, lived experiences, my experiences, and interactions that I've had with people on how they feel about their transition. Before we like get into the video, I probably should show you my fit because you're gonna be wondering what the hell is going on here. I'm dressing down, okay? We can't always have it on. I can't always have it on. But today I have it on. I received this comment on YouTube. Ex-trans woman here. What I'm about to say is gonna get a lot of hate, but I must warn anyone thinking of taking HRT. In the long run, you're gonna regret ever doing it. There will come the time when you slowly realize the gravity of the situation. As you get old, you won't feel so pretty or appealing. You want to start a family as a guy. The urge is only natural. Your mindset will start changing, but you know very well you can't change what's been done. Even though doing everything possible to look pretty like women feel like a woman, the very essence of your manhood will never truly go away. Insecurity will go through the roof. You'll hate looking in the mirror. Many trans women like me who regrets everything that we did, but we can't do anything about it, so we force ourselves to be happy and seem content. And I hate to admit, often I encourage people who are thinking of transitioning so that I can feel less lonely and feel less bad about my decision. Now I'm currently detransitioning. That is a psyop. I do not believe that this is a real person. I feel like this is a very conservative psyop comment that seems to happen a lot because conservatives in certain countries are very obsessed with trans people and are very obsessed with the idea that you're going to regret transitioning and that it has this crazy high regret rate. Maybe that is somebody's lived experience, but it very much does not seem like a real lived experience, mostly because of the misogyny. You'll get old and you won't feel so pretty or appealing. Come on. Women have to be pretty and appealing, and the only way that you can feel happy in your gender is to be pretty and appealing. I know nobody likes aging and like losing their looks and stuff, but that is not the only reason to transition. You don't transition just to be hot. You transition to feel at one with yourself, like just to feel like a person. I already talked in a previous video about whether I would stop HRT when I'm 40, if I'll detransition at 40, because of a similar comment. And I said there, no, I'm not going to. In that comment saying that HRT is permanent, it isn't. If you're female to male, that is a little different because it will change like bone structure and like facial hair and you'll have to do voice training again. The only permanent part of HRT for like male to female is breast growth. You'll have them thangs on you forever. I actually had a doctor tell me that. They said, you have your breasts forever. And for some reason that was weirdly ominous. Spoilers for this video right now. I do not regret my transition at all. It is one of the best things that I've ever done. I am very often like proud of past me for being able to have the courage to go through with this like scary ass thing and get it done so that current day me can just live happily. Like I really appreciate that I managed to do that. Past me rocks. Just to say, like off the bat, this does not mean that people don't regret their transition. There are definitely people out there that exist that have started transitioning and then decided that it was the wrong thing for them, which is fine. There should be nothing wrong with that. It should be completely fine to explore your gender identity and then decide, oopsie, I made an error and I'm gonna go back. It shouldn't be detransition versus transition. Just because you didn't like it and it wasn't for you doesn't mean that other people are gonna be the same way. That is the exact same with transitioning. Just because it was the right choice for you, it doesn't mean that you can push that onto other people. That is the whole egg prime directive. I clock in to my weekly shift to the egg crushing factory, and I'm still not telling you to transition. It is entirely your decision. You cannot interfere with the egg prime directive. You just let nature take its course. I know a lot of trans people doing this online as like a job. I've met and spoken to a fair few trans people, and I do not know anybody that regrets their transition. The most is that some people change their identity over time. They go from like being very binary to very non-binary, or for like, just being quite gender fluid. They decide that, as they grow as a person, their identity grows with them. But I don't know anybody that actually regrets making the step to transition and to be the person that they felt they should be. The one thing that I do hear a lot with my friends and myself, I think this, is there are a lot of people that regret not transitioning sooner. If you asked me, like, I am having very egg thoughts, I don't feel like I am the correct gender identity, I feel like the way I look is not how I want to express, hitting all the signs. Do you think I am more likely to regret transitioning and taking HRT, or regret not transitioning sooner, like putting it off and waiting? I think that you are more likely to regret not transitioning sooner. And I'm not saying that that means that if you have one thought of transitioning that you should like jump straight to hormones and stuff. You do need to be sure before you commit to something like that. It is a big commitment, but you can transition in other ways. You can change your pronouns. You can talk to your friends about it. You can experiment with the way that you express yourself without actually taking HRT. It can be clothing, it can be personality changes, styling your hair, do voice training or something, anything. I think that you are much more likely to regret putting off your transition. And now I'm not saying like taking 6 months to think about it, because that's smart, take as much time as you need. I'm saying like people who very much know that they want to and they should, but maybe they're a bit too scared, and then they put it off for 10 years. The way that I have seen transitioning play out in life is like that movie It Follows. That's being trans. In my experience, you just can't bury it. It will follow you. It's coming for you. Whether you put it off for 5, 10, 15 years, those feelings will come up again. They will rear their head to you. It's not something you could kind of push down, because a lot of the science is that being trans is genetic, it is biological, it is in your brain. It is not something you can therapy out of you. You can't just ignore it. It is very common for people to wish that they could start when they were under 18, obviously like before puberty. That is a very hot topic and very difficult right now. I don't want to get into it, but a lot of trans people, myself included, wish that they could start sooner. Some of the time I am dysphoric and I wish that I could have started HRT before I went through male puberty so that life would be easier. Bonk. A large portion of the time I'm kind of chilling with it. I wish I could have started earlier, so maybe my hips grow a bit more. My hips can widen if you're like early 20s. I think I was 23 when I started, and my hip bones haven't changed. It would have been nice to have changes like that, or just to make life a bit easier for yourself by having, a pre-puberty transition. But a lot of the time, I really like the woman that I am. And even though I have these like challenges of not being a cis woman, I think that they make me me, and that makes me very interesting. I have seen a fair bunch of trans people who transitioned later in life who were so happy that they finally decided to do it after putting it off, that they, it didn't even matter. Like all of those changes that they aren't going to get, they don't even care about, because they're just so happy that they finally had the courage to do it. If you are fortunate enough to be in a position to transition earlier in your life, like I was, I think putting it off for 5, 10 years is only going to make you have regrets in the future. And then if you decide to take your HRT and it's a year in and you don't really like what's happening, you can stop. And you can stop, and the changes will go back, and everything will more than likely go back to how it was before. There have been a lot of detransitioners I actually don't know if there's been a lot.
Hey, Ash the Editor here, coming at you with some stats on detransitioning. On the National Library of Medicine, which is a .gov website, there's an overview of multiple studies on detransitioning. Several of the studies are noted as flawed due to selection bias or inadequate classification. But the biggest and most comprehensive study, covering 27,715 transgender individuals and a whopping 300-page document, cites a total of 8% of respondents having detransitioned either temporarily or permanently. Reasons for their detransition varied from pressure from a parent, partner, friend, family member, employer, medical professional, or religious counsellor, the transitioning process being too difficult, facing discrimination and harassment, and trouble getting a job. Only 5% stated that their detransition was a result of realising that transitioning wasn't for them, which accounts overall for a total of 0.4% of participants. Back to you, Ashley.
Obviously, talking about this stuff is very nuanced, and there's all kinds of layers to it of like your age or like your mental capacity or what kind of position that you're in life or how long the feelings have been around. There is too much, okay? Talking about this is probably going to be a huge dumpster fire for me, but whatever. I already survived the libs of TikTok thing. I got this in the bag too. Maybe that guy is going to react to my video again. Who knows? But I think it is important to talk about. I don't think that you're likely to regret transitioning as much as you're likely to regret putting it off for too long and pretending to be somebody that you're not. It's not, am I trans? It's, am I in a position to accept that I am trans right now? Because obviously it's a lot. There are tons of changes that come with it, and it is scary to tell your friends and family. It is very easy for me, 4 years in, to sit and be like, you should just do this thing. It's going to make you happier. But then you should kind of take away from that on the opposite side. Like, I am so far away from all of that beginning point that I now have perspective. Telling my friends and family and starting HRT and learning how to dress and learning how to do my hair and learning makeup, all of that stuff was very hard. I mean, I loved it at the time. I was psyched about it. I was really happy that I got to do it. But yeah, it was difficult. It was a difficult thing to do. I do know what it's like now for my family to correctly gender me all the time and treat me like the woman that I am. I know what it's like to meet new people and have them know the real me rather than, have to put up a front and just be uncomfortable. No matter how hard and scary it was for me at the time, I would do it 1,000 times over to get to where I am right now. I hope that this has helped in some way. It's kind of cool to do like an actual sit down trans advice video because I haven't done those in a little while. I mean, I did the booby video last week, but like that was kind of just talking about my own life. So this is awesome. This is a classic icky. I hope that means a good thing and not a bad thing that could be used in a bad way. I gotta plug stuff. Streaming now, Monday and Friday. You already heard me say that. Here on YouTube, on this channel that you're already on, the VODs go to channel members first, and then they are uploaded a couple days later. I also have a Patreon, patreon.com/icky, ICKEE. You can get an extra video every Thursday, which is a podcast yap video. That's uploaded every Thursday, and you get early access to stuff, and it just really helps support the channel without any of the gross adult stuff. Next week's video is about ick samples. I'm gonna show you some ick samples because I got 2. I don't know if I'll get any more before I shoot the video, but I'm gonna talk you through my creative process, and I'm gonna show you, oh, I whistled. I'm gonna talk you through my creative process. I'm gonna show you, I did it again, I'm gonna talk you through my creative process. I'm gonna show you what it's like to get the samples, what I do with them, kind of how I'm envisioning it, because this is step 1 of a final product. It's not anywhere near what it's supposed to look like yet, but it is interesting, and I do wanna share that with you guys because you all seem really interested and you have helped support and fund the brand, and I owe you my heart. I'll give it to you later. Right now I kind of need it because otherwise without it I'm pretty sure I'd die. Okay, thank you. Bye. Oh, I broke the mic. It's upside down now. How do I sit in this chair? Jesus. I don't know how to do this.